Well, hi there, it's Crafting Bunny here. I haven't been on for a couple of weeks, but I just thought I'd jump on and just go show you a card that I'm in the process of making using Attention Shoppers. It's a new stamp set in the current catalogue, and I've made several cards with it now, so I'm just making a very special card for someone, and I just thought I'd share it with you while I was making. So I've stamped, as you can see, lots of stamps all over the desk. I've stamped out some of the stuff that I'm going to colour, and I've also stamped out the sentiment in preparation for this. So I'm just in the process of colouring everything. So I'm just using Moody Mauve at the moment to colour in the plant pot. There are dies that come with this stamp set, but I've found that while I've been making cards with it, it's much easier to actually cut the things out. So that's what my plan is today. So just literally going through the colouring stages. So it's a therapeutic stage, as you can imagine. Not everybody likes colouring, but I find it quite therapeutic. So I'm just going to find a colour that's going to go with that one, and I think I'm going to go with Lemon Lolly. Yeah, that works. So the cake's the next hurdle. I've already coloured in the candles, just trying to work out what colour to do the cake itself. Obviously white is the icing, but I think I'm going to choose something a little bit, not daring, that's probably the wrong way to use it. I've got Pool Party, so I'm going to try and Pool Party on this banner. Oh yeah, I like that. So we'll go with Pool Party. I think that's going to look quite nice. It's always very difficult at this stage to know what the outcome of the card's going to be, but then all of a sudden the whole thing pops, and that makes such a special moment. So there we go. That looks right. I think that one I'm not using. As you can see, it's gone a bit funny on the end, so I decided to not use that one. I just re-stamped again, and I just need to put some silver for the bottle top. So, there we go. That's the bottle top. So the next thing to colour is the flowers. So a colour to choose for the wrapper. Flowers aren't too difficult, but the wrappers are. I'm actually going to go, I think, with Fresh Light Bubble Bath. Oh yeah, I like that bubble bath. So I think it's for a lady, this card, so that's probably the right colour to choose. Other colours that she likes are in the rest of the card. So, and in some of the colouring I've just done, so I think a nice pink wrap around would be quite good. And then we've got to decide on colours for the flowers. Well, flowers are quite easy to do, because I'm going to go with Peach Pie for one colour, and I think I'm going to go Petunia Pop for another one, but I'm going to go with the light colour, not the dark. So make sure I got the light for both of them actually. Yeah, got the light, and there are no leaves, so a third colour. Difficult decision here. A third colour, maybe that one. That one is Cherry Cobbler. So those three colours I think we're going to go with. So there's 2, 4, 6 flowers, so that's 3 colours, so that works out quite well. So I'm starting with the Peach Pie in the corner, and alternate it. So I'm going to go to the next one, which is down here. It's a funny little flower, this one. I've used it. This is the second time I've coloured it. since I started using the set. So there we go. I've started with that one. I don't want two colours the same next to one another, so I've just got to be very careful. So I think I'm going to put Petunia Pop. I think I'm going to put in that one. That's it. I have to say, your desk gets really muddled up when you're doing anything crafting, isn't it? I expect you find the same thing. So I'm going to do that one, and then I think I'm going to put, oh, that's going to give me two colours next to one another. Dilemma. So I think I'll put this one over this side. I might have to choose a random fourth colour, because I do not want the two colours next to one another at all. It's one of those things, it's a bit like doing noughts and crosses. If you don't start in the right place, you end up with the wrong order of things. So I'm going to take my cherry cobbler and do the middle one. Oh, need to do the other end. I'm going to put the cherry cobbler there, and then I think I'm going to be safe by having a fourth colour. Fourth colour, what shall we use? We want bluish colour, do we? What about a pink? This one is Flirty Flamingo. That's always a good colour. It's not too close to the wrap either, but I can see gaps, so I need to go back over with the wrap and do those gaps in between, because obviously that's where the paper is. That's better. Okay, so I'm now on the cutting side of things. Let's pop all these away. I always like to put stuff back before I move on, because I'm always worried that I'm going to end up finding something in the wrong place. So I'm going to start cutting this one out. So, and it's always a good rule of thumb: you turn the paper, not the scissors, and it helps you go round those corners quite nicely. So, these are all the elements that I'm going to add to the card. So, and I've got one more element that I haven't shown you yet. So when I finish doing all this colouring, I'll pull all the elements together, and then you'll see the one you haven't seen just yet. Such gorgeous weather out there today. It's beautiful, sunny, a bit chilly, but not too bad, manageable. So that's good. I've been so busy though lately. I've decided to do an all-day crafting in a place that's is a wildfowl trust, so it's full of wildlife and ducks and things. So I decided that in September I'm doing an all-day crafting, so I've been really busy preparing for that and getting posters and flyers put together, so I'm hoping that that's going to be a success. So there we go, I've cut the flowers out, the flowers are done, so I'm just going to go and work through the rest, and then I can move on for the next bit. So I've got all these to cut out next, so I'm just going to pause you right there, because I don't think you want to sit watching me cut all those elements out, and I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, so wow, that was a few moments cutting, so let's get rid of these bits of leftover cars stuff that I don't want to clutter the table up with. So there we have the birthday cake, the bottle of wine, some flowers, a couple of plants, and I've also cut out the sentiment for this card, and I used the little square in the layering circles, layering rectangles, sorry, so that fits that really nicely out, and that's a sentiment that's not in this set. It's out of another set with the beautiful balloons. which was an old set from the last catalogue. So that's all ready. I'm just going to put these all out the way because I can feel myself ending up stamping my hands and ending up with ink everywhere. So just push those out the way a minute because I just want to show you a little trick. I'm going to do this bag for this project, but it's a bit plain. So what I've done is I've stamped the same bag onto some cards DSP with a pattern on it, and I'm going to actually put one on top of the other, but I need to cut them out first. So when you're cutting out this one, you need to cut out the whole thing on the coloured cardstock, and this is Summer Splash, so that's another new colour for this. That's in the new colour range this year. So I always like to cut out the shape and then I can go in a little bit closer with it. So I'm just going to fiddly cut this. Yes, there is a die for it, but these are mostly straight edges, and if it's mostly straight edges I don't see the point in using a die when I can actually use my scissors. And to be honest with you, it does make you can cut a bit closer to the image if you use your scissors. You just obviously got to be very careful what you're cutting, and cutting the right things and not the wrong things. So, and the straight edges just make it very easy to cut, so I don't see the point in using a die. So that's the whole image. On this image, this one, which is the one on the DSP, let's trim some of this off first because I don't want all of this. Okay, with this one I don't want the paper at the top because the paper at the top is the one I want to use on this one. So rather than cut the whole thing out, if you cut just the bits that you want, so I'm going up as far as the top of the bag, and I'm going to go across the top of the bag and then round the handle. And again, remember, don't turn the scissors, turn the paper. Okay, and you'll find that you'll have no problem when it comes to going round corners. Okay. Okay, so I can hear you now saying, how on earth are you going to now do that? Because I've got the bag there and I've got the full bag here. So the trick, particularly on this one, is there's a little black line on that part there which makes it very easy to use as a cut line, and if I cut through there and again turn the card, not the scissors, I can cut out the patterned paper from inside the handle. And just be very, very careful. Obviously you don't cut all the way through to the other side, so just go cautiously. And yes, okay, it leaves that bit open, but in a minute you'll see. So yeah, it leaves that bit open, but in a minute you'll see that won't be open. So out comes the glue, and I put my glue on the item rather than the back of the patterned bag. I put it actually on the full, and I'm just dabbing some glue around the handle and on the cardstock, as opposed to putting it on the DSP, and I'm just tapping it. I don't want masses of glue on it, and literally you just marry one up to the other. I find picking it up helps because I can line it up properly, get the corners. If you start with the corners, everything else seems to just fall into place. And then, I don't know if anybody uses this one, but I take a stamp block and I use that to push the two together, and I don't end up with glue on my fingers. So there we have the bag. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bottle in the bag. So the first thing I need to do is that little bit there at the top needs to come out. So I'm going to just snip that little element at the top out. so it gives an edge. And then on the bottle, and I know I've coloured everything and I'm not going to use everything, but it's worth it, I'm just going to cut round the top, round the label. So I've just got the top part of the bottle. I only want the top part of the bottle, so I'm just going to try and trim up those white bits because there seems to be an awful lot of white there that I don't want. So very carefully I'm just going to try and get rid of some of this white bit. Obviously don't want to cut out the lines because they show you what you've got. So I'm just going to trim off these a little bit more and make it a bit less white. That's it, nearly there. Done. So now out comes the glue again, and this time we're putting the glue on the front, so on the front of the bottle along the edge. So a bit of glue on that edge. Don't go excessive with the glue because otherwise everything will get stuck to it. And then if we take the bottle and we push it just over that gap that I made earlier, we now have a bottle in a bag. We don't need that bit. So there we have a gift of a bottle for the birthday girl. Okay, let's clear away the desk again. There we go. So I'm actually amalgamating this stamp set with an old stamp set, Rustic Crate, and I'm going to take the crate part. Inside on this one we have a die here that will actually allow us to cut out a crate and make it almost two-dimensional. I've also done the gloves as well, so I've got to finish those off, and that's the front of the crate. So I've sort of utilised two different stamp sets and dies for this particular project, so it's always good to mix and match. So in my little envelope that I've previously done, just going to put those out the way. There's lots of elements for this one, so I've got to be very, very careful. So once you cut it out, and what I've done is I've cut it out in cake crumb, and then from Country Woods, the new stamp set that's got the bird box in it, I've actually used the DSP that coordinates with that, and it's a wood effect to make the box. So what I'm now going to do, I'll sort those ones out in a minute, I'm going to now put that together. So the first thing I want to do is actually fold. There's creases all the way around, so I'm going to fold on those creases. Now those creases actually appear when you cut the die out, cut it out with the die, sorry. So you don't have to score anything. It's all scored automatically as soon as you cut it out. But if you pull those flaps down, because the trick with this box, and I have to say when I first used it, it took me a few attempts to actually work out how to do it. If you lie those ones down, and this is where your bone tool comes in, and just emphasize those creases along the edges and along that piece, and those ones as well, and then just put a bit of glue. Those are now lifted up, so I'm now putting the glue on this side, and I know you're panicking saying, oh my god, what are you doing, you can't do it that way. Well, this is how you make the box. So, and just a bit of glue on the edges. Okay, and then if you take the DSP bit, and you can't see it on here, but with that die it actually puts like a wood grain effect onto the paper, so if that was a plain piece it would show up better. I'm not too worried because I want it to look like a box. So okay, so round the right way and lay it down. I start with the front bit first because that seems to flow quite nicely, and then just work my way around. It's going to be a hand and eye job, so just work it around, and once you've got it semi-okay, this is where your block will come in handy, because what you can then do is take your block, and I've got my biggest block here, and I'm just going to push it down with the block. It stops me getting my fingers all sticky, makes the block a bit sticky, but hey ho. So I'm just pushing that down in place, and once the glue has taken, we've then got like a two-dimensional box. So you can see a gap in there, but the box itself is two-dimensional. So what I'm going to do while that's drying is I'm just going to sort the gloves out. So I've cut out four pieces of glove, and what I'm doing is I'm going to put this onto that. Now this one I'm just going to have the top bit patterned, not where the fingers are. So what I need to do is I just need to slip off that top part of the glove, pop a bit of glue on to, and this is Blackberry Bliss, this one. Now I'm going to pick it up with my tweezers because it's such a tiny piece. I'm worried about, oh, if I can get it picked up. There we go. No, I'm going to have to take it to the edge. There we go. And I can just lay that onto the top of the glove, and once it's on there I can just slightly adjust it so it marries up with the crease. Oop, nudged it. So just married it up with the other part of the glove. Make sure that it's right at the very top. Oop, it's very difficult when it's that piece. It's easy when it's just the fingers. So just pop it in place, and that's just patterned that glove a little bit. So that's one. So I'm going to do the same thing with this other one. And again, you can fold it. A crease when you die cut them out, a crease will automatically get put on to the cardstock for you. So again, bit of glue. There we go. I'm going to put my tweezers in my tweezers again because it's easier to hold. Such a fiddly piece. So we have the pattern on the top of the glove, like so. Oops. So what I want to do now is collate all these pieces, not that bit, and not those bits. I want get some of these bits out of the way because I'm going to get completely muddled up otherwise. First of all, I'm going to put the bag inside the box. Okay, so a little bit of glue on the back, just a smidgen, and I'm going to put that inside the crate. I'm then going to take the flowers, and I'm going to pop the flowers in the crate with the bubbles, with the bottle and in the bag. Okay, oops, stand up. Okay, so that's going to go in there as well, and then I'm going to put a plant on either side. So again, a little bit of glue on the back of the plant, and I've only put it on the pot, not the whole thing, and that's going to go in there. And then I'm going to have the gloves. So just got to work out a position that you want them before you glue anything. So that one's going to go in first. There we go. And we'll put that one in there. And then that one's going to come on the outside. So it sort of looks as though it's fallen out of the box. So a bit of glue again. And pop that. So here we have a crate of goodies for the birthday girl. So I'm now going to collect everything together to make the actual card, and then I will show you how I'm going to put it all together. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Okay, so I've actually cut out a circle from the Deckled Circle dies. I rather like these because I like the rough edge. I think the rough edge makes it very good textured effect. So I've cut out one of the circles from here. It's perhaps not quite the smallest, but it's near enough. I don't want it too big, I don't want it too small, because obviously I don't want to lose the effect of how it's going to look on the front of the card. I've also sorted out the base of the card. Now the base of the card is a is a full sheet of the A4 basic white cardstock just folded in half. So this is a big card. So everything's got to be not well spread out, but it's got to make it look good. So I've folded one of those in half. I'm now going to use the Night of Navy cardstock. Now that one was 21, no, not 21. Let me remind myself what that was. So that going across the top was 13.5 centimeters, and the length of this card on this panel is just 20.2 centimeters on that one. And then I've taken a piece of lemon lolly, and that's a panel, so it's done so that there's a little bit of a border around the outside. I think the lemon lolly and the Night of Navy go really nicely together. So that piece is 13.3 centimeters wide, and it is 19.8 centimeters in length. And then you can't, that seems a bit plain. I needed a bit of DSP to use, so finding a piece of DSP, and this card was a good one choice because I'm using up a bit of scraps for these bits and pieces. So I've taken a panel with stars on it, and I think that goes quite nicely with the lemon lolly. And that panel piece is 10 centimeters by 15 centimeters. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to glue the DSP to the lemon lolly before I go any further, because otherwise it's going to slip and slide all over the place and it'll be an absolute pain. So glue's gone gunky. No, still gunky. Right, need to be pinning that to sort him out. So yeah, as it goes. Okay, so that's going to go, so it's a really wide border, so it'll hopefully give the right impact. So the thing to do is to make sure it's straight, because being a wide border you would notice if it wasn't straight. So before you firmly put it down, just make sure that it's straight. That's where this glass board comes in handy, because the lines, I can line the line of that card up, and then I can line this up with the card before I set it down. Okay, so this is my piece of the deckled circle. That's going to go on the top of there, and I'm going to find some twine, I think, to make a bow. So I think it does need a bow, I believe. Never any real excuse not to have a bow. No, and you think I need a white one. Right, I'm going to dig out my white one, because I used my other one up last night. So out comes the new pack. So I always put the white one right at the bottom when you want it. Okay, so I'm going to make a bow out on that one. Okay, so let's make the bow. Find the end. Okay, so let's make this bow. I always make my bows slightly with long traily bits, because then I can trim them off better, and it gives me plenty of leverage. And I always make it on the reel. I don't cut it off the reel until I'm happy with it, and then I can always tidy it up. Okay, scissors. Okay, so I've got a bow as well, so I can go back in its pot. Now I've got a new one out. Right, so the deckled circle die is going to go in the middle. The box will go over one corner. We've got the happy birthday cake, which is going to go in there. The words happy birthday will go there, I think. And then I'm left with the plant pot on the outside, which can go there. And I think that's quite effective. Okay, so I always arrange things beforehand. The bow, I think I'm going to put on the corner of the box. So I'm going to start off first of all with the box. So because this gives you a 3D effect, you only need to put the glue on the back, and it will automatically look three-dimensional. So the first thing I need to do is stick my circle on. I think this glue must be coming to the end of its life. Always when you need it. So I'm going to squeeze it and squeeze it until I can use every bit up. So the circle goes in the middle. Okay, the box is next. So a bit of glue on the back of the box. And that's going to go on there. Now, because of the shape of the box, it still looks two-dimensional, which is great. That's exactly the effect I want. The bow is going to go on next, and I'm going to do that with a glue dot. Let's find my pokey tool. There we go. So there's the next one. So the bow will go on the box, and these will trim up in a minute, so I'm not too worried about that. This is bow in the box, and the happy birthday will go on there. So I'm going to bit of glue on that back of that one. So happy birthday is going to go there, and then the cake will go there. Now I'm toying with the idea that I might use some dimensionals on these two pieces so that it lifts it up a bit. So let's bring the dimensionals in. Yeah, I think I might use the little ones and put 2 in at the bottom. So, one there. Come on, off you come. And that one there. Okay. There you go. So I'm going to put that piece just a bit higher, I suppose there. And then I'm going to use another dimensional or 2 on that one as well, so probably the little ones I think, because it's quite a small pot and I don't want obviously to see the dimensional that I'm using, so the smaller one is probably the best way to go forward. So just a couple. Oh, and I just spotted I haven't done my glue bot. Oh no wonder my glue's going gunky. Cover that up straight away. Okay, so that will go there. So the twine is going round and through, so I can now trim off some of this twine because it's a little bit on the long side, but it has the desired effect. Okay, so now all that remains is for this to go on the navy blue. So this is where you have to make sure you get all the corners of the card so that you don't have any edges that flip up. Some people use the what was the snail trail, but I never could get on with that, so I stick with the glue. So again, making sure it's straight, and you want a bit of a border all the way around. Border needs to go all the way around, and now we're ready to put the whole thing onto the front of the card. So again, making sure that you've got it all around the edges so you don't have any gaps or any flaps. Okay, and then that sits again with a bit of a white border around, and there we have the finished card. So that was the use of 2 different stamp sets and the dies. So the 2 stamp sets again I used were Rustic Crate and Attention Shoppers, and I've used a mixture, and I hope you like it, and I shall see you all again pretty soon. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see another video that I put, any other videos that I put up, and hopefully it won't be long before I'm back on again and showing you yet another card. So bye for now. Bye.